I met a lot of people when I was homeless. I met a lot of people when I was in psychiatric hospitals before they took out the chordoma tumor. I've met a lot of people in college. A communist, a sweet Iranian American man who was one of the most strong humans I've ever met, and gentle. And I've cried. I've cried. I've tried to say to people, you need to not bully me. You need to stop what you're doing. And you need to recognize what you hear, what you see, might not always make sense. But the more and the more these people do what they can't stop, they say, the less I remember. And I didn't want to forget about Roy, this man who was dying from cancer up north in a hospital when I was in college. I freaked out. I went into REI and I didn't know what was happening. I was putting stuff in a cart. I was totally confused, but not with a plan to go out the door with the cart. You go out the cart with like $1,000 and stuff. Good gosh. We used to, in Arizona, when I was young and stupid, we used to steal beer once in a while, back in the 90s. But dang, we would make sure nobody saw us, but I was right over by the front door with this cart full of stuff, and they said I was stealing it. I said, no, I'm just pushing the cart around. I didn't know what was happening. A lot like now with these conditions. I don't know what's happening, and I personally don't really care. And that's why I sing, and that's why I hang from the tree, and that's why I hang my neck from the wall. But I don't ever kill myself. I don't make a song that says I want to kill myself. And Roy was one of the first people I ever met in a health setting who was so close to, I think tragedy is a person can get near. He talked about his struggles with the mental health system and the lack of care and the lack of attention and the disruption to his life. And I don't know what happened to him, but I met more people. I met Larson Close, a man that a young man who lived on Mercer Island and threatened to start fires, I think he said. Talked about doing DMT. And got to be scary and frightful sometimes. But now, in Seattle, Washington, these people I talk about are gone. And in their place are people with names and people with experiences and habits and drugs. And people with such social status, they can fucking do whatever they want. They got their own garden, they got their own freedom. Use the heat, no big deal. Go to their other room down the hall, cool, whenever, 10 o'clock at night, not supposed to have people over. Oh, it's fine. But another person has someone over too much and they get evicted. And their story only gets heard in the hallways. In Roy's story, in my story with chordoma and health, are not exciting. They're not full of joy. And I am not that. And I am not that. I am that. I am that sound I just made. I am that cancer recovering patient in the hospital with so many books next to my bed, they have to tell me to calm down. So many spiritual items to help me concentrate on my school stuff and consciousness and spirituality. People start to look at me like, oh, it's like a freaking like a monk. How did a monk get in here? And I remember back in my college years when my mom visited me and we went to see His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Seattle. And we went to Quest Field, and now it's CenturyLink Field, I think, or whatever. But I think it was Quest Field, or we went to the Seahawks Stadium. And there was a lot of people there. But nobody got in each other's ways. Nobody had a problem getting from one place to the other. Nobody yelled and screamed and hollered and smoked weed that I saw, at least. And those days and those nights and those times and those memories are gone. And now, there's right over there, there's left out there, and there's bullies everywhere who kick in doors, who do drugs, who have taken over the world, it appears.